But we have done it. Bachelor of Science in IT, concentration cybersecurity. We finally did it. Only took 3 years. Not what this video is about though, but well, it is. I'm lying. So basically, I'm gonna make this video. It's an update video about my life and what I think people should do, especially in any field actually, but specifically in the field of IT. What has worked for me so far and what I've seen work personally, and that's it. But yeah, we got it. We got it. We got it. Now, what I recommend for people, always be working on projects or always be wanting to learn how to do something. And if you're in school, because again, I was in school, but now I'm graduated, so I'm no longer in school. Have a GitHub. Yeah, just have a GitHub. Have a GitHub. Make it look somewhat professional if you're serious about it, right? And have your school projects in it. Now, I don't believe you should have them all in there, right? Public. Have like a few, and then a few that you're working on still. Because again, the world doesn't stop, so you shouldn't stop, wanting to learn and practice. Now, me personally, I have to actually update that. I am a graduate now. I'm not no longer attending, I'm a graduate. But I personally am fond of having personal projects again and some school projects here. Like here, I have a tip calculator that was one of my basic projects in Intro to Python, and I have a mile per gallon calculator that's in Java. Not Python, Java. Yes, this is all Java. These are Java, and then I have a web page which is HTML, Java, JavaScript, and cascading style sheets. I have to edit this as well because that is not Java. It will be JavaScript. And then I have some personal projects. Now, my personal projects are I have a Windows command execution system that I coded in Python. I have the first version and I have a second version. Now, the first version is just my very first iteration of it, the very first one, and it's a HTML, very simplistic HTML. So basically, what you can do is just again it's to execute specific commands on your on a in an HTML form, right? You can check out the code if you want, but again, it's very, as you see the screen, very basic, very simple. You get a drop down. Now there's code in the background with these commands that will execute based on the functions the commands are linked to. There's a run button and it'll run it, pop up a window, and no, it won't pop up a window. This isn't the key sensor. It'll show a screen and it'll show your IP, your ARP table, and it'll do an NS lookup of a specific website I put in the code for it to look up. I forget. I think it's like Google or YouTube. But yeah, very basic personal project. Now, my second project is a little more detailed. That one has about 3 iterations of that, as you can see here. I've got like the code here. This will be I believe this is my first iteration of it. No, that's the executable. Should be in the internal. No, it would be in the Pi. That's the Pi installer. This one, there we are. Okay. So here, this will be my very first, this is my very first iteration of it. No, it's not that one either. That's actually the decent looking one. Give me 1 second. I think this is, see, green. Let me make sure green. Actually, you probably need to okay. No, these are actually the upgraded. Okay, well, not upgraded, but decent ones. Okay, here we are. This is my first one. All right, those other two are like more in detail or more cleaner forms of this one. This one, the Windows commands.py, this is my very first one after looking up tkinter basic video. Now, personally, I didn't specifically look up tkinter to do this exactly. This was all like off the dome after looking at that video, but what I needed to do is I've made a few school projects. I've made like a few personal projects, which this is one of them. One of the three at least. I wanted to figure out a way of making an application that, again, this is just completely off my dome. I just thought it'd be a fun project personally. I wanted to make an application where it gives you a selection of commands that you would use in your terminal, and execute them without, you don't have to type them in. You could just select from a drop down or a button and press execute. That's all I wanted to do. But first, I need to understand how to make an application, a very small widget application in Python. And I looked it up, and it's like tkinter. Okay, so I went on YouTube, found a tkinter practice video, and the tkinter video, it was about 15 minutes. It made so much sense after I did the basic practice and went on my own to do other things for this application itself. So for the tkinter, my first iteration was, well, the practice video was just making sign in and login screen. That's it. Just the box, the username and password, submit, and it will read it back to you what you submitted. And there's another variant where you insert a username password, it stores it, I believe, or it checks it with the password you want it to equal. And if it matches, it says logged in. And if it doesn't match, then it just says error, retype password. Understanding how tkinter works, importing that module and what tools come with it, like MessageBox, TTK, subprocess, because again, you would need subprocess to execute certain processes like ARP, tracer key, and as functions here, as you see, and assign them to the buttons as commands. Like command equals ARP, command equals ns underscore lookup. Like I'll get to that in more detail in a second, like right now, pretty much. But basically, after doing that practice, I went on my own and started it. I now knew after watching that video how to make buttons, how to make labels, how to sort those labels, and how to make pop-up message box and text boxes. That's what I figured out and I started. So basically, this is just the basic import you would have to do for every tkinter widget. You have the windows.tkinter.tk, the size of the window, and the configuration. I wanted my window to be all black, so it's just the background is black. And these are the, as you can see in the comments, functions, because I wanted multiple buttons that did multiple executions, command executions. So I have one for IP. Again, you need to import subprocess.run and the command itself, ipconfig/all. And if you're on Windows, you need shell equals true, capture underscore output equals true, text equals true. And for the pop-up, when you click it, it'll pop up the information. So that's where import message box, from tkinter, import message box comes in. Because message box dot show info shows the information from that command once it's executed, output. And then IP dot standard output. And it's the same. It's the function name, standard output, the same for ARP. I wanted an ARP button. I wanted an NS lookup, and the NS lookup is for, okay, I did for Google and Google. You Google and YouTube, and it does it whether it's capital or lowercase. And anything else, it shows an error if there's an error, and it will return the results of the subprocess run command. And it'll show the NS output from that. Now, this one was a bit tricky because I needed to figure out how I needed to sort this or how this worked if I wanted, because you could type in, like, I could make a button and a command input field for NS lookup, but you need to type in like a site or a location IP you want to do an NS lookup for. That I didn't know how to do in Python or tkinter or how to implement something like that. So I needed to look that up, figure it out, and do it, which I eventually did for a later project. But for this one, I just made it either you could select from Google or you could select from YouTube with the drop downs, and you can select one or the other, and it'll execute it. And then one for ping, just basic ping. And the ping is Google. You'll just ping Google. Everything else with the tkinter after that, once I had the functions down, it was just editing and formatting the widget itself, where I wanted the frames to be, the buttons to be, the input fields, the output fields, if any, the colors of the lettering, the colors of the buttons, the labels. Here it's this will be the label for the IP button, tkinter.label. You could a label that'll show click here for IP config, the text size, the same for the button, the frame of the button, the config, what I want it to say, and the command here would equal IP, which when you click that button, it'll execute this function, this IP function here, and you'll get IP config. And it's the same for each other's, the NS lookup. Now, the NS lookup has a combo box. That's the drop down to where you can choose NS lookup with the capital or lowercase and TRT label, TRT tracer route. This is the tracer route, I believe. TRT, I don't have a tracer route button, but that's what that would be used for. And this one was for the Google. I believe that one's on there. I don't think that one's on there. I'll have to check it. But as you see, for each function and each button and label, they have the corresponding name of what I want to do. Get a ping, get an NS lookup, get an AR address resolution table, or IP. And then after that, again, it's the framing, where you want everything, what row, what column, so it looks somewhat appropriate and whatnot. And at the end, window.main move to close it. This was the very first personal project that I thought off the dome and implemented and succeeded and got it right. So again, you could put this, copy all this. I don't have a download for this. You could copy it, put it inside Windows, put it inside a folder, copy it, and go from there. But I'll go ahead and execute this one. I believe, let's see, it should be complete. This is the Windows command.py. So it should be, that's the Python, that's the package, PyInstaller package. Okay. So this is what it will look like when you run it. Again, you can make it its own application with the internal. Again, these applications only work when you have the internal folder in the same location. So we'll go ahead and do that. So it runs that and boom, there's the window here. This is the final product from the first project. And again, I won't click it, I won't do it, but because again, it's going to show my personal information. Um, if you click this, it should give you IP. You could click for a ping, and this is the drop down. You can ping Google or you can ping YouTube. NS lookup for Google, NS lookup for YouTube. And then ARP, you can click this, it'll show you your address resolution table. That's that. That was my very first one. But then I decided, okay, I want to make it look nicer. I want it to be more simplistic. Is there a way to do it? Now for this, I needed to use Copilot. This was the only portion I used my Copilot for, and that's basically ChatGPT AI. What it helped me do is it formatted that down, what I already did, into a more simplistic structure. And I'll show you what changes it made. So that was the okay, so that was the Windows one. Now I'm going to go to the tkinter app one. This is how it made it more simplistic and a lot less condensed. So here it has some more imported fields like import platform that shows what platform you're on, OS, Linux, Windows when you run it. and hashlib. To be honest, I forgot what hashlib was, so we're going to go through this anyway. Operating system detection, it recommended this. Well, it showed me this, and what it showed me was something like this. I edited a bit and added some more commands, but you catch my drift, hopefully. OS underscore name, it will be platform.system, print text running on whatever the platform.system is. Again, there's the little comment I added there. The same window, the same tkinter setup, the .tk, the size of the window itself, and the title of the main window, and the background still black. Now, commands, this was a lot more, as you see, this is a lot more simplistic than my first made tkinter command application. It condensed it all down. You see, there's no button, there's no label, there's no text. It's just a commands. And for Windows, if it detects you're for Windows system, it'll go for Windows, it'll show all these. Now, here is the text, and here will be the command. So the text of the drop downs will be this, and the actual command it will run will be this. And again, you see how simplistic this is? I had no idea it could be this simplistic. But again, that's the joy, I guess, the joy and greatness of doing things the hard way first. So when you figure out an easier way to do it, you know both ways now, and it makes sense to you. But doing it the long way first, I guess, gives you more experience, so you better understand why or what works when you find an easier way to do it. I believe when I did it, it only had these three commands. And I was like, okay, I ran it, and I'm like, okay, I see how it works now. So I just added these as well to the dropdown. System version, you could check with win version. Event log view, event viewer.msc, some run commands as well. Netstat, network statistics. So it also doesn't just run commands in the as if they were in a terminal. They also run commands as if they were in, again, here the run. Like reg edit, registry explorer, device management.exe, info 32, info 32.exe, stuff like that. And again, it'll if you're on a Linux system, it'll have the Linux variant. If you're on a Darwin, then it'll have the Darwin variant. But I'm on Windows, so down here, it shows available commands depending on the operation system. This is, again, I put these comments here to remind myself what they do. Because again, I was just learning all this stuff off the rip. Like I was self-teaching, learning it off the rip. So always comment. So what you're looking at makes somewhat sense, some sense. So this is the function of execute. Select underscore command equals command dot variable dot get. It's subprocess dot run. It executes selected commands when we run is clicked. So if the selected command is a command in the designated operating system, it runs that command on the selected operating system, and it selects the command for that operating system. Again, for Windows, you need shell equals true, capture equals true, text equals true. And then it'll show the message box here of tkinter.end to select the command, and it'll show the output. So it shows the output on a separate window. Again, this is basically a condensed function version of the first variant, where we needed like combo box, separate buttons, separate separate buttons for the different commands we wanted to execute. It just makes it all, puts it in one combo box, and opens it on execution. Tkinter.string variant is Windows. Label text equals select command. So this is what will show on the top of the screen when we select the command above the drop down, and then we have the combo box here. The combo box is windowed. It'll have a text variable which equals command under variable. The values will be listed, so the list will be in the specific commands in the operating system it reads, and it only reads those. Again, here I have another comment. It's a drop-down menu that lists all commands depending on the operating system and this type of font with this spacing. Yeah, patio spacing with that spacing. And then we have the execute button. That's the button that will be under it. It will be a window text equals run and the command equals execute. And again, text equals execute, command, my apologies. Command equals execute. Execute is this function here. It'll run whatever command, whatever operating system we're on that we select. And again, you see here, executes the selected button, execute underscore button equals pack. So pack, I believe it like condenses it into just a button. So it just looks like a button. Uh, like grid wise, it just puts it in a specific location. And then main window dot loop, and that's what this one is. Now this one is the one I have available for download. Again, in order to make that work, you would need to download the eternal file, and then you would download the app executable itself. Which again you can do. You can just copy the code, pi install it, and you'll automatically get your own internal file in the .exe. And I believe I have the screenshot here. And this is yep, this is just an example of the screenshot of this more clean, simplified form. You'll have the window, and you have these specific commands. Again, you can see here they were. Let me go here. They were ARP down to show subnet routes, ARP down to show subnet routes, and then under it is the execute button. I'll go ahead and open that myself on my own portion, on mine. Command, no, it's not it. What is it? It's projects. Where is it? Python projects. Completes. Yes, I believe this one. And here again, it's this is the executable. It's just an example of what I needed to download to make it work from that the GitHub repo. But here it is. This is the example. It'll open this window and you see you have the run command at the bottom, which again the button and it's packed here. The run command, we have to select the command for it to run. Now I'll do a basic performance monitoring. No, actually, we'll do system version. We'll run it, and it pops up the WinVer variant of this. And again, it pops up a tkinter window of what command we executed. We executed the system version. We'll do, let's see here, subnet routes. So show subnet routes, that is route print. Okay, that prints all the routes. Performance monitoring, we'll run that. Performance monitoring and open up my task manager. Actually, no, it'll open, yeah, perfmon. See, if you don't practice it, you forget it. perfmon.exe. See, I type in perfmon.exe. Yep, perfmon.exe. It, yep, that is performance. Perfmon, oh, perfmon.ms. Oh, that works. That works too. MS, perfmon.msc. Okay, so I guess they all open up. Okay, the same. perfmon.exe, perfmon.msc work. Okay. Opens the performance variant and, well, your performance window. And for this, you can just open it. This is in, what folder? What is this? This is event viewer. Event viewer. No, file, event viewer. No, perfmon is its own thing. Never mind. But again, it executes whatever commands you have, whether it be an actual run command that you can put in the terminal itself, like ipconfig, etc., or a basic window run command like perfmon. Again, msinfo32.exe or device management.exe, which is dev management.exe. Yeah, dev management. Okay, so it's not dev management. Device management.msx dev mgmt. Okay, MSC. devmanagement.msc. You can put in a command like that to open devices and whatnot and what have you. But and again, it shows the window of what command you just executed. And that's honestly it. That was just my take on just the field in general, just having fun with it, going out of your way to want to learn new things, and again, make your own projects because it's fun. It's a lot of work because again, to just make this, I needed to watch a video, I needed to practice some of my Python coding, I needed to understand what libraries and modules had these types of tools and what worked and why they worked. And I also needed to watch, I think I already said it, watch a video and come up with my own personal project that I would think will be that could implement this and will be amazing. And though, again, it's very simple, you saw the first iteration of it and my second iteration of it, but it works. And again, on the Windows command on your terminal, when you run it, it'll show what operating system you're running on. And then it opens that widget to where you can then select what options you have, what commands you have to run, and it runs it. Event viewer, you have Windows logs, the security, logins, and what have you. But yeah, that's honestly it. That's my video. Um, Even though I did need to use Copilot for that final variant, for the more simplistic one with the box that I just showed you, it it was fun and it was a lot of learning. It was a good learning experience, and I'm still again learning. As you saw from the video, I'm just practicing. I'm on my own. Think Python in my repo, going through the projects, going through the examples, think like a programmer. I'm going through a current book right now, which I think I should, yeah, different chapters. Yeah, the chapters are here with examples. Yep. And I'm pretty sure I have it saved, the book itself. Yep. But yeah, I'm going through all these chapters and, brushing up on my information, brushing up on some old stuff that I learned in college, that I learned myself, and just getting through it, writing down these examples, putting them into action, and just getting to work because you can't, life keeps going, life keeps moving. You can't just stop and stay stagnant. You will be an eternal learner. 100%. And that is, yeah, that's it. Python projects. Think, think like a programmer. Yep. And you see, as I go through these chapters, I'm just notating them, writing them down, and going through the exercises, making sure I'm understanding, what's going on, why it works, what works, and coding in general. That's just coding. That's just coding, software, information systems, life. That's it. That's honestly it. But again, thank you for watching. If you're watch this whole 30-minute video, I didn't mean for it to go that long, but I did it. It's a lot of work. It may seem simple. It may be simple to you, but it is a lot of work, a lot of reading, a lot of writing, typing, coding, a lot of information you should know, need to know, and that's honestly it. That's it. Now, again, if you guys want to check these out, my three projects, two of these, the tkinter app one and the Windows command, are basically no, the Flask app.html is basically the same as the Windows command.py. Um, well, no, it's not. That's a lie. Flask app.html is the HTML version I showed you earlier. The Windows command.py was my first implementation with the green and black buttons in the backgrounds. And tkinter app 1 is the cleaner variant that I needed a Copilot AI to assist me with to give me some tips on what to do, how I could make it cleaner, how I could make it more simple and basic. There's some links also in the README of Python libraries, tkinter project, and practice. This is one of the videos I use to assist me in this, learning tkinter and how to actually go about starting this personal project. And Flask, just Flask, a video on Flask, what it is, how it works, and how I could pretty much do it myself. But that's it. And some examples of how to run it, what you'll need for the Flask app, how to run the Flask. You need IDE with the Flask app. You need to a loopback address, display it on the terminal, and then drop down should be displayed as such. And again, warning, warning, the EULA only use this application on trusted home networks. Don't go on someone's private network and doing these, executing these commands. All right, do at your own risk if you want, or ask the person or organization first, of course. But thank you guys for watching. That was it. Best wishes to everybody in the future, and more videos will be out later. Not really updating as much because, again, life is still going. Even though college is over, there are more challenges, more life choices, more jobs, more things to learn. I'm currently studying for Security Plus, and yeah, just don't stop. Keep going. If you like it, like it. But above all, have a good day. Love you guys, and bye bye. Thank you for watching.